Hey everyone. Yep, freedom of speech or freedom in general took another hit today. And this time in the form of, yeah, trust me, once you hear what this article is referencing, you'd be like, are you serious? And yeah, in Canada, in 2019, this is a reflection of reality, whether you like it or not. Headline of the National Post: Manitoba man loses court fight to get back banned assimilate license plate. A judge ruled this week that it was reasonable for the insurer to take back Troller's plate because the world is connected to the indigenous experience. Of course, the problem with that whole pretense is this wasn't referencing or regarding indigenous people. This is a man who's a fan of Star Trek, and I'll just say myself, yeah, look over there. Yeah, see on that bottom shelf? I'm a bit of a Trekkie myself. I'm a fan of Star Trek. They were great programs, whether you go back to the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager. These were great series, and when I was growing up, not only were they entertaining and science fiction based, and had to do with the universe and exploring space, which are things that it really appealed to me as a child, right? Appealed to my imagination. But at the same time, those of us that grew up in that era, we got a lot of great morals and ethics and understood some very important principles based on the writing or writers who created such great characters throughout those series that stood firmly in defense of liberty and freedom. Like I say, a show like Star Trek gave me some great, even when I was just a little guy or even when I was a young man in some of the later series, it gave me some great aspects and areas where the culture, where media, movies, and television, where these things actually played a key and pivotal role of teaching the same kind of morals and ethics that many other people in my community or in my country tried to do. Like I say, if people were unwilling to go to church or Sunday school to get their morals and ethics, at the very least in the secular world, well, you could pivot towards series such as Star Trek to get a lot of those exact same morals and ethics. But apparently today, those kind of morals and ethics are seemingly misconstrued and somehow intertwined with this new pretense. That's the thing. Star Trek goes all the way back to what, the 50s or 60s? I think it was the 60s or whatever. But today, because these so-called progressives, in reality they're authoritarian collectivists, have used this pretense of assimilation based on the Aboriginal and colonization, the colonialists, the English Empire and how it took over and destroyed all these First Nations communities and basically wiped them out. And now apparently Canada's a genocidal country. So they're all trying to tie all that stuff together. But in reality, most people driving down the road, if you've seen a license plate that said assimilate, I would imagine you would think that, hey, this guy's a Trekkie, right? But apparently some people think otherwise. So we're supposed to now all conform and align with people that don't think in the same manner with others or want to use a term such as assimilate to mean something other than what this person meant. And I mean, it says right here, it's right on the guy's plate, right? It's not even just the plate itself. If you look at the actual plate holder, it even says right there, we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. I mean, how do you mistake that, right? It's right there in not black and white, mostly black and green, well, I guess, and some white. But I mean, it's all right there. It's written, like, it's right on the guy's plate. And he was wise enough, apparently, in today's politically correct culture, make sure that you clarify that with the plate holder that said, we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. But even that wasn't enough. It's being reported by Kelly Geraldine Malone, Canadian Press, October 24th, 2019. Winnipeg. An Indigenous man in Manitoba has had his NDN car personalized license plate returned, but an avid Star Trek fan learned resistance is futile in his court fight to get his Borg-themed plate back. Nick Troller, what a last name. Are we on camera? Is this a Truman Show? Sometimes I really do question the way how this stuff plays out these days. Like, I feel like I'm in a really messed up reality TV show in some way. Nick Troller had filed a legal challenge against Manitoba Public Insurance over its decision to revoke the assimilate plate after receiving a complaint that it was offensive to Indigenous people. A complaint. I'll point that out. Yeah, so I think it was, well, there was also the other one with, remember the guy with the last name Graber? He's of German descent. His last name is Graber. That's how you'd pronounce it, but it's spelled like grab her, all one word, mind you. But because Trump had said something, now what, 10 years ago, they took that guy's plate away. I thought actually that might have been the one that, I think maybe both of these. There's just one complainant. Apparently, all it takes is one person to complain to destroy your freedom of speech or your ability to have a personalized plate in this country. A judge ruled this week that it was reasonable for the insurer to take back troller's plate because the word is connected to the indigenous experience and government policies of forced assimilation. In isolation, it may not be offensive, but the word has taken on a new meaning within this country, wrote Queen's Bench Justice Sheldon Lanchbury. I must consider the current meaning of assimilate in the broader context, he said. Well, no, you don't. Anyways, folks, I'm not going to place a whole lot of time dealing with this shit. I'll put an article in the description of the video below, but I mean, this judge, no, total political decision. 100% political decision, obviously, but that's the thing. Judges aren't supposed to base their decisions on politics, right? But this is the world we live in today, folks. They're all fallible. We're all fallible human beings. And for anyone, that's the thing with status. People that are big government proponents or believers is, what you believe these judges, you believe politicians, you believe that they're all just holier than thou and they never have any internal biases or political biases at all. They're just on the, well, this here suggests otherwise, but once again, deny that reality because it might interfere with your own internal biases. Do as you must, do as you please. At the end of the day, that is the reality that's going to unfold. That's the thing, one thing, like I said, as a libertarian, I understand. The world is a really messed up place at times. Or at least it can be, depending on the certain kind of people that you're dealing with. But hey, which is why I've always said time and time again, yeah, we recognize, libertarians, we recognize just how fucked up things can get at times, which is why we say don't give these people this much power. Never give anyone this much power. But I don't know. Canadians and a lot of people in the Western world say, give them the power anyways because they're giving me the right message. And they make me feel good, right? Okay, well, if you deny facts over feels, if you deny logic, reason, morality, and ethics just for the fact that, they're part of my team, they say the kind of things that I like, if that's your dominant area where you feel that you got to appeal to, well, like I say, wait till you see. I mean, if you think Canada's already bad enough in terms of division, hatred, wait till you see how this plays out going forward. Maybe let's give it a decade. Let's see just, hey, tell you what, see you in 10 years. Hopefully. Let me know how this is all working out for you. Because eventually, at some point in time, even the lowliest dumbed-down mass who's supporting the status quo, the ruling status, even you at some point in time would say, please get me out from underneath this hellhole. It's like, well, maybe you should have joined with people like myself when I was trying to warn you earlier on. But you wait till you're mired in the shit up your nose before you want to pay attention, right? Where you're like, I can't even fucking breathe. Well, like I say, why would you allow yourself to get that point? I don't know. Maybe you should stop listening to your thought leaders and opinion makers and start thinking more critically about these issues. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.